My name is George Bates. I work on permanently installed, large-scale, and temporarily installed public art projects throughout the United States. The original inspiration always comes from the honor of being chosen and selected for these projects, and sort of like responding to and answering those concerns within the cursory research. I was invited to have a group show sort of down here, and the curator, we were out to dinner one day, and I said, "Do you know anybody who lives in Reston? I'm up for this project." And she was like, I grew up in Reston. The way that she described it, she was like, I grew up there and I experienced this incredibly diverse, incredibly complex sort of community." So that kind of gave me the impetus to really just back up my own sort of research, not knowing anything about Reston, and brought that to the final presentation. In deeper discussions with the committee, they wanted me to consider working with the local poet laureate, Nicole. She was familiar with the area, and the process was we would kind of go through some of her poems. She would just send me stuff that she thought worked, and then we would just kind of talk about it. And there were two in particular that really just worked and just came to the forefront. I would try some iterations in with certain visuals. I really feel like we nailed it. It was really a dream to actually work with some text, and especially with a poet. And Nicole Tong was just absolutely fantastic to work with. I go around with these little notebooks, and they're full of just so many notes. My process is always to just think really hard about what everyone's saying, then sort of forget about it and see those things that resonate. I go out on the street, I'm very intrepid, and I just kind of have to walk a place and just sort of live in a place. I say I don't make anything, my role is to reveal something. And what that reveal is, it relates entirely to the site-specific nature of the project. The complexity of having to show something that simply sort of presents many of these ideas, the brutalist architecture, the sort of raw beauty of that, the modernist sort of reductionism, this idea of perfect imperfection, wabi-sabi, but also just so many of the approaches to the different sculpture down there, a sensitivity to what aesthetics in the art is, and politics and nature. It was astounding, really incredible project. The fabricator that we worked with, Peters, they're in Paderborn, Germany, and I've worked with them on a couple different projects. The one thing that I was really astounded by about fabricating in glass is they said to me is that if you have a piece of artwork, you have one piece of artwork. Whereas if you have a piece of artwork in glass, depending upon the day and how the clouds go through it and the sun and everything, you have many thousands. What I want people to take away from Ethos, to sum it up, you're walking down the street, you're thinking about toast, you're thinking about what you have to do, you're thinking about laundry, or maybe you're, having a good day, bad day, whatever. But to engage with what that dialogue with art and aesthetics is, that's my own experience with mass transit and metro, is that it creates this dialogue, whether you're thinking about it or not, just about what community really is.